Hey everyone, Adam Black here at Your Lender for Your Life. Are you building a home or thinking about building your dream home? Well, I thought today we'd get into some great construction topics, and what better way to do that than with one of my cohorts, Bryan Nesbit, who is over our construction department at our bank. Bryan, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks, Adam. It's a privilege to be here today and speak with you and your audience.
All right, so let's get into some of the questions that viewers have posed to me. Let's talk about budget. What determines how much I can borrow?
Absolutely. Well, the primary factors in determining what your borrowing amount is going to be your cost of your project, and we're going to look at your appraised value. You know, obviously those are a little bit different because if you take a typical spec house, for example, you've got the base builder cost for the lot, the construction, but they have also got their profit margin built in. And the difference between the cost and the appraised value is oftentimes that builder profit margin. But what we're going to do is, as a lender, is we're going to look at what is the cost of that project, what is the appraised value of that, and then we're going to determine a certain percentage of that, typically 80%, is what we're going to provide in terms of loan funds to a borrower.
Okay, great questions. So when we're talking about that budget, we've got the budget in place. We're moving into the process. We get into it. What happens if I go over budget?
Yeah, that's a very important factor. And I think the probably one of the biggest things people need to look out for on the front end is not get ahead of themselves. Okay. Make sure, as you would advise somebody on a mortgage loan, make sure that they're not kind of getting over their wheels too much. Make sure that they have got ample liquidity, ample cash set aside, because I think that can be one of the biggest surprises is people have all these expectations. They see houses on HGTV. They go to our parade of homes. They look at these $1 million homes and they have starry eyes and expectations. But once they start getting down into the details of how much these things are going to actually cost, there's kind of an uh-oh moment. And they realize that I may be ahead of myself on this. So I think starting off with a really good, strong budget to know what you're getting yourself into on the front end, not rushing things and taking your time. That way you don't get over budget. But in that instance where you do, and that has happened in certain cases, the bank's going to look to the borrower to make up that difference. Mm-hmm. There might be an opportunity to increase the loan amount, but those are very few and far between, and I can get into some of the specifics, but to kind of keep this at a high level, if you get ahead of yourself in a construction project, the bank lends what it lends, and then they're going to look to you to make up the difference.
So you really got to stay on top of that, especially going into it, I would assume, is be very important to get with a builder that you really trust.
That's right.
Make sure when you're getting those bids that you're probably adding a little fluff in there, I would think.
That's right. And that's probably the number one piece of advice I would offer. Before you get ahead of yourself and start acquiring land and start getting a loan, start with the basics, like you just said. Get with an architect. Develop your plans that you want to build. What are your expectations? Come up with the concept of what you're going to build. Find a very good, reputable builder that you can have a good rapport with, a good relationship with, a good partnership with, and let that builder help you develop what the budget's going to be so that you understand, can I even afford this house to begin with?
Great thought. And then you also got to think on the back end of that, you got to finance it to a permanent mortgage. So that's
Absolutely.
Where I would come in, obviously. And we need to be thinking, okay, what if rates go up, which we have seen lately? How does that play into your budget as well monthly? So I guess it's a big... it's all encompassing. You got to look at the whole picture.
It is, and that's why I think we have the perfect scenario here at our bank at First Commercial, because it's such a strong partnership between our mortgage team and our construction lending team, where oftentimes our mortgage partners have long-term clients that want to go out and build. Yeah. And so we'll work with each other, and we have a very seamless handoff process where you bring a client to me, we'll talk to them about the construction process, and they know in the back of their mind that they've already got a trusted partner on the back end that can help them with their permanent mortgage once the construction process is done, and circle back with you guys. But that's why you're such a good trusted advisor, and it's a good play between our two teams, because you can make sure that they're being advised properly on the front end of what mortgage rates are looking like, because in most cases a construction loan, a construction process is going to take about 12 months, give or take, depending on the size and the scope of the project. So you've got to help them think kind of 12 months into the future, what are mortgage rates going to be looking like? And then we're also trying to advise them on the front end, because a construction loan is typically based on where prime rate is at the time. So it's a good dynamic, and I think you bring up a very important point where while we would love to have you at First Commercial, if you're out there building, make sure that you've got a very strong relationship and a connection with your construction lender and your mortgage officer.
I agree. If you're having to press 1 for English or you're having to do an extension, you probably need to rethink that. We're local. You're going to come in, you're going to meet us, you're going to meet me, you're going to meet Bryan, you're going to sit down with us. We're going to probably come out to the lot and see the land with you and walk through the process with you. So I think that's very important. Hey, man, thanks so much. That's great information. We're going to do a complete series on these construction loans. I think it's very important. We had a lot of questions posed to us when I posted this out. So stick with us. Watch for the next videos. As always, like, subscribe, comment, let us know what else you want to see, and share this with a friend. We deeply appreciate it. As always, I'm Adam Black, your lender for your life, and I look forward to talking to you soon.